Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast, Talking to Heaven. I'm Gregory Sanderson, and today with me from Sabina, Ohio, is Angie Leeth Cockerill. And Angie, it's wonderful to have you on the program today.
Thank you. Nice to be here. I'm ready to have fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun. You know, we go back quite a ways, don't we?
We do.
We've got some stories we could tell, then we've got some we've got to keep between us.
We're not going to tell.
Yes, we have a long history together. How far did we go back, and how did you first meet me?
Through a mutual friend, I would say 24 years ago.
24 years ago?
Yeah, long time ago.
I must have been like 19 or something when I...
Yeah, I was like 3. Well, you predicted the birth of my last 2 children.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, and Mason is 23 now.
Wow.
And Maddie is 21.
We go that far back.
We do.
So long before the kids were ever born, I predicted their birth. And was I able to predict whether male or female?
Yes, you did with both of them.
Do you remember anything that I said prior to them being born that led you to their personalities?
Probably more so with Maddie. I remember you saying she would be very quiet, shy, and she still is to this day. And Mason, you described him too. With basketball, you said he'd always have a basketball in his hand, and he did growing up. And then you predicted his children.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, sure did.
I
You're
probably
good.
need to do this for a living.
Maybe. I don't know. We could think about it.
Yeah, it's a good thing to think about. Okay, that's pretty cool. What about some of the other things that we talked about? Or were there other predictions to you that you can remember that we talked about, like when you first met me and then what happened or transpired after you met me to the future?
Yeah, I remember you predicting me moving, and we had lived on the farm for 20 years. I never thought we would move. And you said, I see a brick home with a lot of wood and a pool in the backyard. I said, I'll never have a pool again. No way. My brother built a deck, and we had a pool, and it was a brick house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I describe the house to you?
I remember you saying it would be a lot bigger than what we were in, because we were in a very small farmhouse. And then this house had 4 bedrooms,
Wow.
a lot more bathrooms. So, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do all this stuff.
I don't either.
If people knew me, they would never know I was gifted, would they?
No. You predicted Mason's children. McKenna is getting ready to turn 5.
Wow.
And you predicted Brock, and he's 4 now.
He's a cutie, isn't he?
Yes, he is. They're doll babies. You also predicted Mariah, which is my daughter's child, and we're going to get ready to talk to her here in a few minutes.
Oh, that's right. We're going to call her on the phone.
Yeah, she's
Maura.
in Florida.
Yeah,
Yes.
and she moved to Florida.
Yep. And Mariah's 10 now, and she's in Florida with Maura. So we'll have them on the telephone.
You know, that's going to be pretty fun here in just a few minutes.
It'll be more than fun. It'll be a blast. You predicted a lot for her, too.
Oh, that is so wonderful to hear.
As a matter of fact, you told me about Mariah. Nobody knew except for me and my sister. My brother-in-law took Mariah on her first airplane ride, and she was very excited, and she was telling my sister that her stomach was jumping up and down, and I hadn't even said anything to Maura yet, and I went and saw Greg, and he said, did your granddaughter go on an airplane ride? He said her belly had butterflies in it, and she was so nervous, and I had not told anybody. So you knew about that, too. I was so shocked. After I talked to Greg, I went home. I hadn't even told Maura yet that Mariah had went on a plane ride. I just let her go and didn't even ask Maura. So you busted me on that one.
Your dad has been passed for quite a few years, and he has graced your sessions numerous times, as well as on the way up here. On the way to the studio today, your dad came to me, and as I was reaching down to get a napkin, he said to me that you had a piece of food between a napkin and you went to reach for the napkin to use it to wipe your face or something, and food fell out of it.
That was in my car.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no idea, which I have a lot of food in my car I eat while I'm driving.
Well, your dad said to bring you
Oh, no.
a leftover piece of pizza
Thanks.
because when I reached down to get the napkin, this fell out, and that's when your dad told me this story.
Oh. I remember one time the kids and I had went and ate Applebee's, and you just stopped over to come visit me, and you said, "Who likes Applebee's?" Your dad just said, "You love Applebee's." We had just eaten there.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the stories that you can remember that relates or correlates to your father giving you information?
One that I found funny was I had bought a clothesline, and I was trying to get it out of the box by myself, and it fell on my toe and broke my toe. And I had been talking to you, and you said, "What'd you do to your toe?" Well, it was several weeks later. It was starting to heal. And he said, "Your dad said you're going to fall and hurt your toe." And I said, "No, that already happened." Well, about 3 days from then, I fell out of the car and re-broke the same toe. My feet was all tangled up. I had a blanket around my feet, and I had flip-flops on.
Yeah.
And that's how I fell out of the car. So, yeah, I hurt that same toe. It was like the next day, I thought, oh, my gosh, my dad told Greg I was going to hurt my toe again. Because you kept saying, no, he's saying you're going to do something again. And I did. I would like people to know you described his passing to a T, because that's what settled me after he passed. You know what I mean?
Was your dad still living when you first met me?
Yes.
Since that time, he had passed. And how long has it been since he's been gone?
It's been 4 years. And I struggled with that really bad because it was sudden. And nobody really knew what happened. His work had called and said he didn't show up, and that's when my stepmom found him in the garage, and that's when I talked to you, and I just needed some type of closure, you know, to know like he didn't suffer or what happened. And I just remember the guy from the funeral home saying he had fallen, he had a bruise on his head. There's no way you knew that. No way. And I come to you and I said, just tell me what happened. And you said, oh, he was tinkering in the garage, which he did all the time. And he snuck out there and smoked.
Okay.
Because he wasn't supposed to be smoking. And you said he had his coffee and he wasn't feeling well. And he fell. Like he had a massive heart attack and fell. And you said that's when he hit his head right here. You even knew the side of the head he hit, the spot and everything. And you said, you know, you described it like he was talking through you. He said he didn't suffer, he didn't hurt. It was like a bolt of lightning, and he saw Jesus' face. So that was comforting to me, you know, to know exactly what happened. So thank you.
You are so welcome. That's a beautiful story. I don't remember any of that. You know, I speak to lots of people every day, numerous times a day. Even in passing, people come to me. So there's so many messages that I retrieve and hand to people. I don't have the capacity to remember them. But directly after his passing, you know, we all go through grief and the stages of grief. How did this help you through the time of that?
It just comforted me the way you explained it, and I could just tell it was coming from him, and it helped me more just, you know, knowing that he's in heaven, he's okay, and he's seen things that I never told you that you would say, well, your dad said you did this, and that helped me through my grief, just knowing he's with me.
Yeah.
You know, and you saying, well, your dad also saw you do this. And right afterwards, my stepmom got sick with cancer, and I was trying to help take care of my younger brother, which is handicapped. And so, yeah, I was grieving terrible, but that comforted me through those stages, just knowing that Dad seen what I was doing, what I was going through. And you would always give me messages. You know, your dad said, well, for one, he kept saying, listen to that song. You would bring up songs for me to sing, and that it was just, I knew it was him. I remember one stands out because I listen to it all the time. Mac Davis, Stop and Smell the Roses, because when you're grieving, you don't stop and think how important family and little things in life.
Yeah.
You just, it's more about your grieving when you're going through it and you missing them and not thinking how much better off they are. So when he gave you that song, that I played it every day over and over. And I can't believe you don't remember, because I was at your house like 2 to 3 times a week after Dad died. I was just grieving so bad and just needed that information, that he knew what I was doing and the rest of the family. You know, you don't stop and think that they're grieving also.
Right.
You're just so hurt yourself. And you would give me advice on, you know, the kids. And I was always, you know, worried about myself.
Yeah,
So
right.
thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. Another cool thing is I've not only established a rapport and friendship with you and the family over the years, we've become very close friends through all this as well.
If you think so. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it looks good on TV. You
Yeah.
know.
No, you have been.
The wonderful thing about this is I've been able to share with your family as well as your friends, because you have brought hordes of people to me. And you've even had house gatherings where I come in and share with people in your home.
Yes, we did. Quite a few times.
Yeah, throughout the years, not
Yes.
just 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. There for a while, you would come like once a month and bring somebody new. It's cool, too, to sit in on the sessions, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's so overwhelming that you only focus on a couple things that you say. And then, like, I could help my friends and say, oh, remember he also said this. And they forgot. And they were like, oh, yes. So they were glad that I did sit in, you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing time. And, you know, the more that you're around me and the more your friends are around, or the times that you get to sit in on sessions, you kind of absorb what I do so that it helps you with your own life, don't you feel?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that you can help sort through things yourself.
Yes.
And with these gifts, I can prepare you. It's kind of like being in the Army and having to go to boot camp, and the sergeant drills you and brings you to the point, to the battlefield, but I can't be on the battlefield with you.
Right. Yes.
So we've had lots and lots of fun times and lots of hardship times as well.
Yeah, I figured you were going to block my number there for a while.
I tried, but I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, I come knocking at your door.
That's right. I even changed addresses.
I know, and I found
me
you.
out.
You can run, but you can't hide.
That's right.
No, in all seriousness, though, yes, and I'm glad you prepared me, even though I look back and think I wasn't prepared at all and thought that I was. So that helped me through everything that I've gone through.
It's also neat to know that I'm just myself, that I'm just Greg, and that as you get to know me, there's nothing I hide.
Right.
I let everything out in the open, even the experiences of my past, if it helps you along your path.
And you've done that a lot. I've noticed, like, you'll give me examples of your life, and after I go home and realize that's exactly what I'm going through.
The Lord did that. When Jesus walked this earth, he used many parables to relate or correlate to people. And so our life stories and the things that we go through are great examples and great analogies of the things that, you know, we experience along this path or plane. If you go back and look at all this, we've had probably more fun times than we've had really tough times. And the fun times that we've had have kind of helped pad those rough or tough times or situations
That's
we've
true.
come through. Dwayne, who is Wayne or Dwayne?
That's my dad's middle name.
He just referenced the fact that you scraped your leg or did something to your leg. What did you do to your leg?
I did, and I don't know how I did it. I've got a scratch on the back of my leg. But I went on motorcycle ride like a week ago, so I don't know if I did something then. I don't know. I have written down the first time I ever come to you for a reading. As soon as I walked in the door, I was amazed because you looked at me and said, "Who's Ronnie? Who's Connie?" That's my aunt and uncle. They had just passed, and they passed within 6 weeks of each other.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confirmation in this work, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Coming through from heaven is a lady who references the name Bob. Who is Bob to you, and who is the lady in heaven that's speaking to me?
I worked for Bob and Janice, and she passed probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's referencing washing the windows.
Yeah, I used to wash her windows.
Okay.
That's pretty neat. I cleaned for her.
Grandma's pulling in the name Margaret.
Yeah, her name's Margaret. We called her Margie. That's my aunt on my mom's side.
Okay. So that's your grandmother's daughter.
Daughter, yes.
So this is pretty interesting. As we're sitting here, Grandma's speaking, and she's referencing and correlating not only who she is, but also she confirms it by telling you her daughter's name.
Wow.
Let's go to your daughter, Maura, who is now in Florida. I have to share this with you before we call Maura on the phone. Your dad is referencing dog poo, and they're having troubles with dog poo. So when we call her, we want to ask her about the dog poo, okay?
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Maura. It's me and your mother here
Hi,
at the
Maura.
studio.
Hello?
Maura, I know you moved to Florida here recently, a few months back, and that's something that I've been trying to get you to progress into doing here the past few years. Can you kind of fill us in on what's going on with your life currently?
Yes, I wouldn't have done the move if it wasn't for you, Greg, because I didn't have no faith in it or anything. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to move that far away from my family, and you've been telling me for 2 years, just do it, get away. It's going to be great for you. Everything's in your favor. You'll get the apartment. I didn't think I would even get the apartment, and I did. You said I'd get the job, and I did. And so I'm working at a Buffalo Wild Wings down here,
Cool.
and yeah, and everything's working out great. And even my boyfriend Philip, he said that he would get a job at a car wash, and that's the first job he got when we got down here was the car wash.
That's just great. I'm glad that you're getting along well in Florida and that things are coming to you. Notice how once you let go of old things, the new begins to develop for you and blossom before you. Because just about a week or so ago, you said, I can't believe it. All these things are working out for me, and people are even giving me and supporting me in this moment. I don't even know them, and they're giving me furniture, and all these wonderful things are beginning to blossom before me. Remember that?
Yes, and you even told me, you said you won't even want the stuff that you put in storage shed. And I'm like, Greg's crazy. I'm like, why wouldn't I want my furniture? Well, next thing you know, when I got down here, this woman moved, and she left all of her furniture. She said, well, you guys gave us money, said, will you guys just throw everything away? Whatever you guys want, you can keep. There was iPhones, there was furniture, everything. And now I'm like, maybe I wouldn't want the stuff in storage. So you was right about that.
You are so funny. That's so cute. I'm pretty sure that I met you through your mother. Is that correct?
Yes, when I was little, I used to have like spiritual moments, and then like sometimes I wouldn't believe in God because I'm like, well, why would bad things happen if there was a God? Well, then she told me I should come and talk to you, and you are the reason why I believe in God, because you tell me things and they happen, and it's just crazy.
I'm glad I could be positive influence for you. When you look back to the time that you first met me, do you remember some of the things that came through that made you a believer?
Yes, I was pregnant for my daughter the first time I ever came to you, Greg, and you told me that it would be a girl, and it was, and you told me how she would act. You said she'd like her hair up in pigtails, and when she was little, that's how she always wanted her hair. You said she'd want left alone, and she did. She just wanted us all to leave her alone because she was like the first baby like in our family for a while. and for everyone to hold her and play with her, and she just wanted us to leave her alone.
You remember that, Angie?
I remember that. Yes, I do.
When I was with my ex-boyfriend, he told me that my next boyfriend's name would be Philip, and my next boyfriend was Philip, and me and him have been together going on 6 years now.
Mom.
Wow.
That's a good track record. We've had a lot of fun together as well as your mom, not just with your mom, but on the side too, because you've developed your own time with me and have come for guidance for years.
Yes, I love coming to you. You give me good advice and positive outlook on everything.
What are some other things you'd like to share with everybody listening today?
One time I brought a friend to you because she was kind of nervous to come on her own because a lot of people don't know what to expect. They think you're going to see ghosts or something crazy.
The boogeyman.
That's what too.
I remember.
So I came with my friend, and this blew my mind. You told her, you said, pray about something in your head. Don't say it out loud. So she prayed about it, and you told her what she prayed, and she started crying. It, like, blew all of our minds. It was so crazy. Like, you knew what she just prayed, and she said it in her head. I remember it was something to do with, like, her mom and dad, because I knew they got a divorce, and she thought it was, like, the kids' fault. And I think the prayer was something like she wanted them to get back together. You told her the answer to the prayer, and you told her it wasn't her fault or her siblings' fault, and that everything was going to get better, and it would be better if they wasn't together, and it wasn't their fault.
That is really mind-blowing.
Yes.
Your grandfather, Gary, who just passed, is coming through, and he keeps talking about water running on the floor, and you're aggravated about the water all over the floor. Where's the water coming in all over the floor?
I keep saying I want a big rug in my apartment because there's no carpet, and we're right here in front of the pool, and as soon as we come in from the pool, we bring all that water in.
You've got competitive grandfathers here because now your mom's father comes in, and he's showing me stuff stuck in your hair, in Mariah's hair. What happened to your hair?
I've been using a clip instead of hair ties because my hair's, like, it's so hot here and my hair is getting so long. The hair ties get, like, wrapped up in my hair, and I can't get them out once I get them in, so I've been using a clip.
Yeah, because he's been pulling on one section of my hair as I'm sitting here, and that's what it represents. Your grandpa's talking about mustard. Where'd you get mustard all over something or something all over an outfit?
Yesterday at work, at my first table, I was bringing out their food, and I got right on the white part where the numbers are on the uniform.
Yeah.
I got the mild sauce from one of the wings all over my shirt, and I even sprayed stuff on it last night and washed it, and it didn't come out. And it does look like mustard. That color is sauce. That's funny.
In the way it appears to me through how I see it, it looks like mustard on your outfit.
Yes, the other day when you called me, you're like, what was you doing with the camera? And I'm like, I was playing on my phone, and it really didn't click into my head until after we got off the phone. I was showing Mariah and Philip pictures of there was pictures of dead fish all over Facebook because the red tide is in right now on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah,
and so right when you was calling, you, like, interrupted our pictures. So that's probably why you saw a camera, because I was showing them pictures.
Sorry about interrupting in the middle of your pictures. Before you went to Florida, I had also prepared you a little bit for it because they were talking about those little flies that get all over your windshield and how aggravated you would be. A few months later, you kind of ran into those bugs and you text me. You remember that?
Yes, and I showed you a picture of all the love bugs in my car.
I remember that. Prior to calling you, they gave a story about your neighbor and the dog poo. What's going on with your neighbor? Who is the neighbor that always bugs you, and what's the reference to dog poo?
Oh my gosh, there's a neighbor, David, and he has 2 dogs, and he takes them out to poop or pee or whatever, and when they poop, he picks it up with his bare hands and puts it in the bag. Instead of using the bag, he uses his hand, and then like he don't clean his hands, like he'll sit and rub it in, then he touches his face.
How did you know about it?
Well, when I went down there and visited, he came down and he writes poems, and he would make me cards, and you know, he really wanted someone to talk to. And, and like she said, I couldn't even come outside. Here he came, and he's only, 3 doors down, Maura?
Yeah.
Well, Maura, thank you so much for being with us over the telephone. It's exciting because your mom gets to be here as well, and this will be something that you all can cherish a lifetime and look back on, that you two were involved in this. So I thank you so much for being a part of it, and God bless you, and I pray that everything continues to work out great for you in Florida.
Thank you. I wouldn't have done it without you.
Well, God bless, and thanks again, and you have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, Maura. Love you.
Bye. Love you. Love you, Greg.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was good.
Yeah, that's so funny, especially about the dog poo.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about it. You didn't tell me you knew
forgot
about
all
it.
about it.
Oh, okay, well that's
funny.
pretty. That's funny. Well, Angie, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today. I've had a blast. I hope you've had fun as well.
I've had a blast too, and I always do.
And I hope everybody that's watching the podcast today has had a blast as well, because we've had a lot of fun presenting it. Thanks again, and thanks for watching today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.